Hello everybody, my name is Marlo, and welcome back to another Skyblock episode, which is actually gonna be the final episode in this series. I know that may seem a little bit sudden, and I'll spare you the details, but the gist of it is, I'm just not really motivated anymore. And instead of just continuing things on for the sake of it, I thought it'd be better to end things off here. And I didn't want to just leave it hanging, so I thought this episode we can kind of wrap things up and put a nice, neat little bow on this series. Something is different about my pigs, and I can't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, so the iron farm that we built in the last episode is producing a lot of cats, I think because the villagers are just there, and maybe these two, they think it's a village, so they're just kind of popping in and out of existence a lot, but I'm not complaining, I like having them around. I've also managed to get quite a bit of iron too, which is really nice, and string, which probably unrelated, but that's what cats drop when they die. I'm sure it was a spider or something. So my plan for today's episode is to essentially build something on all of our remaining platforms, which is 4 in total we have left to fill in. Now I can't promise what we actually build on the platforms is going to be useful, but as long as we get something on them, I'll be happy. The only trouble is, I don't honestly know what I'm gonna build on them. Because I'm only so far into this world, all of the items that I can farm, I'm already farming. I'll tell you one that I can get started on. Don't know why I haven't honestly made this before, but a tree farm. I have nowhere specifically to grow and harvest trees. So let's do that first. I think over here on one of the lower platforms would be a good spot for it. There we go, tree farm done. Of course we've got 4 of the 2x2 spaces in the middle, and then plenty of little single trees that we can grow as well. Whilst I'm thinking about what to build on the next platform, I'm gonna sort some of my villagers out here. A couple of episodes ago we built this villager breeder and started moving some of the villagers in. Now, I'm not going to fill out all of these slots because that's going to take a while and a lot of AFKing, which I've already been doing, and I've got a grand total of 3 villagers. So I'm going to move them into 3 separate professions. I decided to go with an armorer, a toolsmith, and a weaponsmith, and eventually they got in with very little problems. So I might trade with these guys, or I might not. I feel like that's quite a big time investment that probably isn't needed. But what is needed is to get another one of these platforms done. And I've been thinking, I would kind of like one of them to be my bedroom. So if I just do that, yeah, there we go. Bedroom done. No, I'm just kidding. Let's do something that is more than just a bed. The room's finished, and let me give you a tour. I think the best way to do that is to just hop on the train here, wait for it to come around, and off we go. So as you can see, there's my bed. I've also got a spare bed, Echo's on it right now. Got some storage over here, a furnace this side, some more furnaces this side, and over in this corner, we have my Fox Scout, who's currently tied up for a good reason, because he wants to kill all of my chickens the second I let him loose. Whew, okay. I've also got a train set in the middle because why not? So yeah, Scout is here in his little playpen, but he has to stay on this, otherwise he's just gonna eat my chickens. He darts straight over there the second I let him off. Now, having a bed in this world is kind of pointless due to the fact it's hardcore, so if I do die, I don't need a respawn point because, well, I won't be respawning. But I think it's just nice to have one anyway. And let's say Scout wants to get off his leash one time and actually behave, he can sleep on this bed. Just 2 platforms remaining now, and we're going to work on this one, which currently has Mittens, my snow golem, and my current infinite water source. My plan for this platform is to turn both of these things into a completely over-exaggerated build of what they currently are, which hopefully can take up more of the platform than what it's currently doing. You may think that this is a grand waste of space, and yes, you would be entirely correct, but as I said, I don't really have anything left to farm. And both of these things are vital to this series. I've been using tons of snow blocks, and obviously you need an infinite water source, so go big or go home is kind of my thought process for this one. And yes, I'm also very aware it is utterly useless me having 4 snow golems due to the fact I'm the only one in this world. I can only use one at a time. But Mittens has cloned himself and, well, I had to make use of them somehow. So they're in their little pens, which look a little bit better now. And obviously we got a lovely fountain for refilling our water, which you have to do a little jump, but that's fine. One platform remains, and honestly, I have no idea what to put there. I've been racking my brain, looking through all of my chests, trying to find some sort of farmable item, and all I've managed to get so far is glowberries. And I don't really want to make a whole platform just for glowberries. I have accidentally placed down some water sources under my fountain here, which really annoys me, because then you can see it from elsewhere on the platform, so hopefully I don't die doing this. Right before I'm about to finish off our base here, that would be kind of sucky, but I'm doing it carefully, trying not to stretch too far, but there we go, we can make it. Go back up, empty our bucket, and pick this final one up, and fill in that very dangerous hole with the block that I no longer have. There we go. Perfect. Looking nice and clean underneath too. Can't see that annoying water source anymore. You disappear, and disappear quick. Anyway, I have decided on what I'm going to do for this final platform here. So, seeing as I've got nothing really to build on it, unless I want to go try find a new farmable item, but honestly, I don't know what I can get my hands on quickly enough, I'm going to remake my storage system. So the majority of these chests are actually filled with mob drops. I have a lot of them. I honestly kind of just stopped collecting them after so long because I really didn't need that much. And the rest of the chests are all of my items kind of dotted around semi-organized. So even though I don't really need to organize it at this point in the series, I'm still gonna rebuild a better proper storage system on the final platform here. And that is the last of the items moved over. I haven't even been able to fill up all of my chests. I simply don't have enough stuff. I have, of course, left some chests at the top here for all of our mob drops. But I was thinking, if I were to be continuing this series, building my storage room down there would be a terrible idea. With any kind of storage room, you always want to have it sort of centralized, or at least not the farthest part of your base to run to, so I did just fill it for the sake of it, I can't lie. But it looks kind of cool. And that means we are finally done with filling in all of our platforms. The base is finished, if you can call it that. Turned out to be a bit of a botched job at the end, but I don't mind it, I think that's okay. I think the final thing we should do before we end off this series is a very quick recap on everything we've done. In the first episode, when it came to making the cobblestone generator, I messed it up, so this is actually season 2 technically. The first one lasted a few minutes. I had to start the world again, unfortunately, but I did it the second time round. In episode 2, we constructed a big mob farm, which eventually turned out to be even bigger at a later stage. Episode 3 was all about farming some animals and getting them to spawn into the world in the first place, which was a very difficult and long task, leaving a very ugly mark on the world that stayed there for probably too long. Episode 4, we expanded the base, building out some more platforms, which now, as you know, we have all filled in. Episode 5 was the episode that we expanded our mob farm into what it is now. It was totally unnecessary. The farm is so fast, it's like too much. It's way more drops than I need, but it looks pretty cool. Episode 6, we went island hopping and explored all of the remaining islands in the overworld here, bar a couple I believe that we didn't eventually get to, just because they were so far away, but we got the main ones. Episode 7, we went to the Nether and built ourselves a gold farm. And in episode 8, we actually stayed in the Nether, making a zombie piglin bartering farm, which allowed us to essentially get infinite dirt using the gravel and coarse dirt method, which was really helpful to have. Episode 9, we managed to get some villagers into our world, which was a really fun task and just kind of cool to have villagers join me here on my very lonely Skyblock island. And in episode 10, the previous one, we got some of those villagers and plopped them in an iron farm, which allowed us to get an infinite supply of iron. And I just wish I got to use this a little bit more. I didn't quite get the full potential of all of the iron that we now have. And of course, you are currently watching episode 11, where we have done everything we've done today. You don't need a recap on that, do you? So there we go, everybody. That is going to do it for today's episode and the series as a whole. Before we go here, I will just do a little bit more of a deeper dive into why I'm ending this series, but first, let me get off this minecart. I feel like I'm going to give some of you motion sick. So, as I said at the beginning of the episode, the main reason, and basically the only reason, is just a lack of motivation. I just don't really want to play Skyblock anymore. I've kind of had enough of it. Which honestly, I thought would be the case eventually. Skyblock is something you do eventually get bored of. There are limitations that you don't really have in vanilla Minecraft. I don't have unlimited things to do. I guess technically I do, but there's not unlimited things that I want to do, I should say. And the past few episodes, I feel like I've just been forcing myself to make the videos and continue this series on. And that's not really a good way to go about making content. Just doing it for the sake of it, probably not very good. So even though the series has been a ton of fun, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, I think now is a good stopping time for me personally before I get actually sick of it, as opposed to just a little bit unmotivated. Hopefully none of you are too sad about this. I will be doing other short series like this in the future, I'm sure. I've even got some ideas I'm currently brewing up, so this will probably get replaced by something at some point that hopefully you'll enjoy watching just as much, or maybe even more. So there we go, everybody. That is gonna do it for this series. I really hope you've had fun watching it. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. It has been a really fun time trying out Skyblock again after having not for so many years. It has been a blast. So thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.